I want to do a quick video on the K-Quad showing how it flies. This is its second flight, and it was a bit windy. It's probably blowing about 15 miles an hour at the time, but I wanted to basically show you how stable the frame and the quad was. I've installed the Immersion RC VTX on this, along with the 808 number 16D type keychain camera, ready to FPV this. So it's carrying the weight that it would be expected to carry when it was going to FPV. It's running a 1.6 amp 2-cell battery, and I'm using switching between the two modes, the acro mode and the stabilize mode in the flight footage. So this is basically just me going forwards and backwards, line of sight, going out over the field and then coming back tail in towards myself. Considering it's quite a windy day, for this size of quad, I was quite happy with the overall initial results with regards to the hover characteristics and also the flight. There was no untoward issues that I was experiencing when moving around. I think the only downside of a quad, which is only 250mm in diagonal, is it very, very quickly becomes a very small dot on the horizon, and this is probably exacerbated by the fact that this is footage from a GoPro camera rather than obviously your real eyes, so of course that dot becomes even smaller on a screen. I'm expecting to get about 6 minutes flight time out of the 1.6 amp battery, which is great. To be honest, it's fine for what I think I'm going to need it for. So the frame is printed using ABS plastic on a 3D printer. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with the results of the printer. It's printed some great quality components which make up the frame, but that's obviously only part of the equation. That there are motors, ESCs, and a receiver to obviously control it, plus a controller board which makes the quad obviously flyable. I wanted to see how stable the quad was close in, so I tried to kind of hover it close by so we got some good shots in the GoPro camera. A bit of an accident there when I was trying to concentrate on what I thought was somebody coming in the back door. Being such a small quad, I mentioned before that it tends to disappear into a tiny dot, but it also becomes a very tiny dot very, very quickly. So it really does give you the sense of speed when this thing zooms off. Got a little bit more tuning to do on the KEK2 board that I've installed, but it's not the best of weathers to tune today, simply because it's a little bit blowy, and so some of the wobble that I'm getting could be attributed towards the wind. My personal experience with flying quadcopters is relatively limited. I have a DJI F450 which I fly occasionally. This is effectively my second quad, which I designed from the ground up. So probably my skills with flying aren't particularly the best skills at all. But I think for me the joy has been actually creating something which could fly. And even with my limited skills, I'm able to hover this thing, I'm able to move it around. Okay, I'm flying tail in when it comes back towards me, but I think after a bit of practice I should be able to get a lot more control. I think the other nice thing about a small frame is its relative forgiving nature with regards to landing. With some of the heavier frames, a heavy landing would almost invariably involve a break somewhere, whereas I think with a light frame like this with lightish components, there's probably less chance of significantly damaging the frame with a hardish landing. Because the frame is made up of multiple parts rather than a single part for the arms and the body, it also means that the arms can be swapped out, the legs can be swapped out, the top and the base plate can also be swapped out as well.